Hello guys, support us and subscribe to our channel, give likes and write comments. Today we will read Ocean Beauty story. Well, let's get started. Once upon a time, in a far-off land, there was a beautiful ocean. The ocean was known for its sparkling blue waters and the soothing sound of the waves that could be heard from miles away. Every day, people from all over the kingdom would come to see its beauty and take in the peaceful atmosphere it provided. The ocean was home to many creatures, such as colorful fish, playful dolphins, and majestic whales. The villagers would often go fishing in the ocean, and they were always amazed by the variety of fish they could catch. Some of the fish were so beautiful that they would be used to decorate the houses of the villages. One day, a young prince came to the village. He had heard of the beauty of the ocean and wanted to see it for himself. As soon as he saw the ocean, he was enchanted by its splendor. He spent hours walking along the beach, feeling the cool breeze on his face and listening to the sound of the waves. He watched the sunset over the ocean and was mesmerized by the colors of the sky. The villagers saw how much the prince loved the ocean, so they decided to take him on a boat trip. They sailed out to the middle of the ocean, and the prince was amazed by the vastness and beauty of the sea. He saw schools of fish swimming below the boat, and he even got to see a whale up close. The whale was so big and majestic that the prince felt like a small child in comparison. The prince was so moved by the beauty of the ocean that he decided to make it a protected area so that it would always be there for future generations to enjoy. He passed a law that prohibited fishing in certain areas of the ocean, and he also established a group of people who would monitor the ocean and make sure that it was being protected. The people of the village were grateful to the prince for his actions, and they knew that the ocean would always be there for them to admire and cherish. They would often take their children to the beach and tell them stories of the beauty of the ocean and how it was protected by the prince. Years passed, and the ocean remained just as beautiful as it was before. The villagers would still go fishing, but now they were able to catch even more fish than before, because the protected areas of the ocean allowed the fish to reproduce in peace. The ocean was also home to more creatures than ever before, and the villagers were happy to see that the prince's actions had made such a positive impact on their community. As the years went by, the village became known as the Ocean Village, and it attracted many visitors from far and wide. Tourists would come to see the beautiful ocean, the protected wildlife, and the peaceful atmosphere of the village. They would take boat trips to see the whales, dolphins, and other marine life, and they would also go fishing in the designated areas. The village also became famous for its seafood. As the fish caught, they were considered some of the best in the kingdom. The prince, who had fallen in love with the ocean, would often visit the village. He would stay in a small cottage by the beach and spend his days exploring the ocean, talking to the villagers and learning more about the marine life. He would also spend time with the group of people who were monitoring the ocean and making sure that it was being protected. One day, the prince met a young woman who was visiting the village. She was a marine biologist and was studying the marine life in the area. The prince and the young woman hit it off immediately, and they spent many days exploring the ocean together. They would take boat trips, go diving, and study the marine life. The prince was fascinated by her knowledge and passion for the ocean, and he realized that he had found his true calling. The prince eventually decided to stay in the village permanently. He left his royal duties behind and devoted himself to protecting the ocean and studying the marine life. He and the young woman got married and had children, and they raised them in the village. They spent their days exploring the ocean and educating others about the importance of protecting marine life. The prince's actions had a profound impact on the village and the kingdom. The ocean remained just as beautiful as it was before, and it continued to attract visitors from all over the world. The village prospered, and the prince and his family were loved and respected by all who knew them. And so, the people of the village, the prince and his family lived happily ever after, knowing that the ocean would always be there for them to admire, cherish, and protect. Once upon a time, there were two lovers named Jack and Jill. They had been dating for a long time and decided to take a romantic trip on a yacht. The idea of being out on the open water together, surrounded by nothing but the ocean and the sky, was incredibly exciting for them both. As they set sail, the weather was perfect, the sun was shining, and the waves were calm. They both felt a sense of freedom and adventure as they watched the coastline slowly fade away into the distance. They spent the morning sipping on champagne and enjoying the delicious seafood that was prepared for them. They talked and laughed together, relishing in the feeling of being alone together in the middle of the ocean. As the day turned into night, they watched the sunset from the deck of the yacht. The colors of the sky were breathtaking, and they felt like they were the only two people in the world. They cuddled under a blanket, talking about their future together and making plans for a lifetime of love and adventure. The next day, they reached a secluded island where they spent the day swimming and exploring. They found a hidden waterfall and swam in the cool, crystal-clear water. They also had a picnic on the beach, watching the dolphins play in the distance. They felt like they were in paradise, and they didn't want the trip to end. As the yacht sailed back to the mainland, they both felt a sense of sadness, knowing that their adventure was coming to an end. But they also knew that the memories of this trip would stay with them forever. They returned home more in love than ever before, knowing that they would have many more adventures together in the future. The trip was an experience that neither of them would ever forget, and it only solidified their love for each other. They would always look back on this trip with fondness and remember the feelings of freedom and adventure that they felt while sailing on the open water. They knew that they would always be each other's adventure partner, and they couldn't wait to see what the future held for them. After their romantic trip on the yacht, Jack and Jill's relationship continued to grow stronger. They often talked about their adventure on the ocean and the memories they had made together. They decided to make sailing and traveling a regular part of their lives, taking trips to different parts of the world and exploring new places together. One day, Jack surprised Jill with a trip to a tropical island where they had a beautiful beach wedding surrounded by close friends and family. It was the perfect way for them to start their new life together. They honeymooned on a sailing trip in the Mediterranean, visiting picturesque towns and cities and exploring crystal-clear waters. They even stopped by the island where they had their first romantic trip. Years went by, and they had 2 children whom they raised with the same sense of adventure and love for travel that they had instilled in each other. They showed their children the world and taught them to appreciate the beauty of different cultures and the importance of making memories together as a family. They went on many trips together, visiting different countries, experiencing new cultures, and making unforgettable memories. Years passed, and they decided to buy a yacht of their own. They often took their family on sailing trips, retracing the steps of their first romantic trip and creating new memories along the way. They also took their children on adventures, teaching them to sail and instilling in them a love for the ocean and the open sea. Their love for each other and for adventure never wavered, and they knew that they would always be each other's adventure partner, no matter where life took them. They traveled the world and explored new places, making memories that would last a lifetime. Years passed, and they grew old together, but their love for each other never faded. They looked back on their lives with happiness and satisfaction, knowing that they had lived a life full of love and adventure. They knew that the memories they had made together on the yacht were some of the most special and cherished memories of their lives, and they would always be grateful for that first romantic trip that brought them together and set the course for their future. They were grateful for the life they had built together and for the love that had sustained them through it all. They knew that their love story was one that would be told for generations to come, a testament to the power of love and adventure. Thank you! Learn English with us easily and fun. Support us and subscribe to our channel. Give likes and write comments. Watch new videos on our channel every day. See you soon and bye-bye.